Here I am with Jessie. Hello, my darling. Thelma White, how are you doing?
No relation to Jesse, but a friend.
Jesse's only across, isn't he?
Yes.
How are you doing, my love?
Very well, writing my book,
You are?
which will be out the end of this year or the beginning of
Could
next.
you share the title with us?
Yeah, Thelma who?
Ooh, I like that. Tell me about Till Your Children. That was your very, very first film?
Oh, no.
What was your very first?
No, my first was when I went under contract to RKO, and the first was, what was the first one? Well, I played opposite Wally Ford,
Right.
and I can't remember the title.
That's
See what
okay.
you do to people?
How about Bowery Champs, honey?
Bowery Champs was in the early 40s before I went overseas with my USO show.
You did USO.
Oh, you're damn right I did. I got all my bugs there.
You and Martha Ray.
Martha, yes.
Martha did it too. What years
Bless her
were
heart.
the USO? Where were you?
I was 44.
44,
Latter
that's-
part of 43 until I came back about 6 months before the end.
Let me ask you a question, Thelma White. How did you get in show business, and who encouraged you?
Well, I don't know. My mother put me in a carnival.
Right. And a carnival.
Before, yeah.
Really?
That's where I started, 2 years old. And from there, I did in Omaha, Nebraska, my hometown.
Right.
On an Easter show. They put me in at the Orpheum Theater, which I was luckily very, very
So
big hit.
you did vaudeville.
Oh my God! Did
Lots
I
of
ever?
vaudeville.
Oh.
And that's where you got into films right after that.
No, musical comedy shows on Broadway.
That's it. That's what happened right there.
And before that, after being a single, my mother's girlfriend, who was almost the same age as my mother, but tiny, worked as my sister. So it was Thelma and Marjorie White.
So you had a
And
team.
we headlined all over the place, yes. And we starred in Topsy and Eva. We starred with Fred Stone in Tip Top with Fred. And with Ziegfeld first at the Ziegfeld Roof.
Right.
The first time he did it at the
I'm looking
Amsterdam.
back here. This is you right here, isn't it, Thelma?
Yes, that's 1933.
1933. Look
Publicity
at
stills.
Look at Thelma White there. Is that exciting? Look at those legs. You had some great legs, my darling.
I had
you
some
and
great
Betty Grable.
publicity all over the world.
You had some great legs. You and
Thank
Betty.
you.
I bet you hit the USO before Betty Grable had her legs done, right? When you did the USO.
No, I think I don't
Grable?
remember. I know I did a front page for Yank. But I did it in the underwear, the GI underwear. Of course, I love the comedy, which I always did.
Right. So you don't take it serious. You just did it mostly for comedy.
Yeah.
Thelma White, wonderful seeing you here today. You're here signing
nice.
your wonderful autographs and wonderful fans of yours here.
Yes.
We're so happy to see you.
And I'm 85 years old, going on
85
86.
years old. I love it.
Yeah.
Thelma, and you look wonderful, sweetheart.
And my book's going to be finished before I'm finished.
No, well, the book is called
Thelma Who?
Thelma Who. Okay, Thelma White.
Okay.
We'll find out.
I wish you'd sign the book, because my publicist will send out notification when the book is
Good.
ready.
Who's your publicist going to be? You know?
I'm not at liberty to say,
Nice
but I
seeing you.
have a wonderful agent who was with Swanson for almost
With
30
Gloria
years.
Swanson, yes.
No, not Gloria Swanson. Swanson Agency.
Oh, Swanson Agency.
A literary agent.
I see. Okay.
And he's a little older than I am, but he's still in it.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gosh,
Thank you.
that made my day.
You made mine.
Thank you, love.
Thank you. I'm with Jessie White, one of my favorite people, one of the great theater actors, boy.
Thank you.
I say theater actor who started. Every time I say Jessie White, Shelley Winters remembers you in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
You did some great theater. Where are you from originally?
Akron, Ohio.
Akron.
The gateway to the Orient.
Certainly is. So what have you been busy doing now, Jessie?
I've been just nursing myself, trying to get rid of this Bell's palsy. It's coming down to the wire. So I hope to God in another week I'll be ready to go to work.
Maytag. Everyone knows you as Maytag, but I don't remember you as Maytag. I mean, I do, but I know you as a great actor. You've done some great roles.
Thank you, Skip.
Well, your favorite role?
We've been down the pike a few times.
Yes, you have.
And I loved every minute of it. I tell you, I wouldn't trade places for anybody.
You don't have any regrets, none?
No.
How wonderful.
And there were some tough times too.
Can you share one of that tough times for me? Like, what do you mean by? I know we've had tough times, but what's the toughest for Jessie White?
The toughest time that I ever had was almost losing the Harvey film.
That's right. What
They tested every guy that looked like a fighter or a truck driver. Maxie Rosenblum, Maxie Bear.
Right.
And they wanted to save $700 fair.
Right.
But may she rest in peace, Mary Chase and Brock Pemberton and Jimmy Stewart said, "We want Jessie White."
Jimmy Stewart, what a great guy.
God bless him. God bless him.
You're still friends today?
Oh, yeah,
today.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's a dear man, and unfortunately, I hear he's a sick boy.
So that is one of your favorite films, would you
Yeah.
say? Yes.
And I love this business, Skip. I love it. I'm crazy.
Even with the highs and the lows.
Even the highs and the lows, I wouldn't trade places for anybody.
But you do like the theater, though.
The theater's my favorite.
It is?
Yeah.
What's your favorite show that you did in the theater? Your favorite
Odd
theater
Couple.
piece? Why is that?
It's the greatest laugh show I've ever seen or ever played.
You do like comedy, though.
I love
That's your
comedy.
thing. Now, how did you get the Maytag thing, the commercial on Maytag?
I believe they were looking for a basset hound kind of a face. And they caught me on a Jackie Gleason show. And they said, "That's the guy. Let's take a look at him." And we had a meeting, and they said, "Would you like to?"
That's it.
I did one, and it was only a one shot, and they loved it.
How many years?
25.
25 years on Maytag. Could you imagine that? One shot.
One shot.
Jessie White, you look wonderful. God bless
Skip,
you.
God bless you.
How about the book? Is it coming out?
I'm working on it.
You better work on it.
I'm working on
Okay?
it. All right.
Thank you, Jessie.
Thanks, Skip.
Thank you. Thanks, babe.
This is one of my funnest ones. Annie gave us
Here we are at the Oh, tell me, Debbie Dutch, the one and only. Look at this. She'll never drown, will she? She'll float for days.
Well, you know, Skippy, one of my idols is Marilyn Monroe.
Is that what?
And I just think that she's like the coolest actress of all time with Greta Garbo. So if I can
What do you think that makes her so successful in all the years? She's been dead and she's still an icon. What is it?
She has this mystique of being a star, that ethereal, unreachable, beautiful, radiant, ever-glowing star.
Well, it's beside the
like
star.
you, Skippy, like you.
Beside the star, darling, Debbie Dutch is unreachable because look, you're walking down the aisle here. Men are going absolutely crazy.
Oh my
Debbie.
goodness. Oh my goodness, isn't that great?
Yes.
I love it. Well,
Tell me about Death Dancers.
okay, now this is one of the coolest movies. I love this movie. And our dear friend Annie Davis co-stars with me in it. And there's her name right there, Annie Davis.
I remember she did this. She was a bloodsucker or vampire?
She was one of my girls.
Oh,
and boy, was she great.
Is that Debbie Dutch in real life? A bloodsucker like this?
Well, actually, what I was... No. I'm a giver.
A giver?
I love to give everything in my heart and my soul to the world, just like you. You're like
I want you to look at this. She is a giver. Look how beautiful she is. Stand up. Isn't she beautiful? This is Debbie Dutch. Look. She is a beauty. Where are you actually from, darling?
I'm from...
Chicago?
No, Trenton, New Jersey, which is like near Princeton.
Right.
And Washington's Crossing. We're Washington Cross of Delaware.
How did Debbie Dutch get into the business?
Well, I was a ballerina from the age of 4. So I was performing from the age of 4 as a ballerina. And then my uncle, I'm sure you know him, Paul Roebling, was in the original Tennessee Williams acting group and was in Milk Train Doesn't Stop Here Anymore. And so I was introduced to Broadway when I was like 5 years old. And then I had stars in my eyes ever since.
When you get these stars in your eyes, tell me about when you get to the casting agents and when you go to the offices. Is there a casting couch there?
Oh,
come on, Debbie. Is there really?
Skippy.
I mean, have you been approached? How do you handle?
if I told you some of the big wigs in this town who literally picked me up and carried me to the bedroom in the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Well, let's write.
I could never ever mention any names though.
Really? Oh, okay.
I mean, big.
Heidi Feiss.
Mr. Big.
Heidi Feiss. She's doing it all.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Poor Heidi.
Oh, but you know, I can't do it unless I feel it. It has to be real. Just like my acting. Like in this, when I go murder all those men, watch out, OJ, the ones that cheat and abuse their wives, I go seduce them and kill them.
Tell me about this cover of you.
Oh my goodness.
It's really hot.
I know.
Baby, she'll float for days. Look at that. The heads are middle. You see it? That is a beautiful, Debbie.
I tell you, one of my blessings is meeting you in this town. I just loved you.
Is this all natural?
I have not had one thing done yet. Nothing. Everything's real on me as of now.
As we're sitting here in the valley right now, you are making this day for everyone. You're very exciting. You're very beautiful.
Oh.
And Debbie Dutch, thank you so much.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you, Skippy.
I think you have a lot of people here want to get your picture signed.
Oh, darling, thank you. Bye-bye, Skippy.
Wizard of Oz was
Here I am with Jerry Meyers from The Wiz, one of the greatest films ever.
Absolutely right. Thank you, Skip.
Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. I
Right.
mean, how many people went out for that film? All the little people.
There were 124 little people.
I wanted to be a little person to go out for that.
Yeah, well,
that
if you
time.
could have chopped your legs off, you could have made
My
it.
mother wouldn't let me because I was too little taller, and I really wanted to go there.
Oh,
I was
that's-
here at that time in Hollywood. I was doing films at Monogram Pictures.
Oh, I
at the
remember
time
that. Oh, yes.
For Maurice Duke. And I had such great times, and that movie was such a great film. When you did that movie, did you realize that was going to be such a big hit like it is?
No, I didn't. Actually, I thought it was a typical Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer musical. Little did we know it was going to be turned out to be a classic.
It is a classic.
It is. It's great. You know, when you figure it out, that movie was done 57 years ago,
Right.
and there's no improvement.
None at all.
Every major industry or business has an improvement after 57 years.
Right.
That goes to show you how advanced they were.
Tell me about this one right here.
Well, this is the NBC special called Dreamer of Oz, the life story of L. Frank Baum,
Right.
starring John Ritter, about 5 years ago. My wife Elizabeth and I are in that. That's me and that's Elizabeth. I look like a rabbi
to
there.
Hollywood.
1938. They sent for me for that.
For you.
Yes, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer.
Where were you doing?
I was in high school at the time, and I was doing a dancing act with my 3 dancing teachers called 3 Steps and 1 Half.
I love
And then an agent seen this, and he came. We were playing the Bond Hotel in Hartford, Connecticut, and he came back and he said, "Say, you know, we're gonna need 4 or 5 little guys like you that could really sing and dance." He says, "I know you can, because I seen the act. Would you be interested?" I said, "Sure, man. Would I be interested?" I was a kid, 18 years old. I'd do anything to be in the movies.
Who's this lady next to you?
This is my lovely wife,
I wanted to see that lovely lady.
Elizabeth.
How are you?
I'm just fine. I'm
Your name is?
Elizabeth Marin,
How long have you been married to?
21 years.
21.
That's
It's
right.
a dirty job, but somebody's got to do
Yeah,
it.
you
She's
kids.
fresh,
Where are
too.
you from, darling?
I was born and raised in Mobile, Alabama.
Alabama. So you're a Southern girl.
He's from Boston. I captured me a Yankee.
You captured yourself a Yankee.
That's
I
right.
love
I'm
it.
yeah.
You seem lovely together.
My sweetheart and my best friend.
Any children?
No, I'm
This is
afraid
my
not.
baby.
But
This is your baby. This is the baby you got to take care of.
That's
Yes.
right. A 24-hour-a-day job. He doesn't get up until the paper's brought in, the coffee's made, and the house is warm.
I love it. You're happy. You seem very happy.
We are
You
extremely
both
happy.
work together in films a lot?
No, very rare.
Now
Oh,
and
we
then.
do in like she does a lot of stunts. She does a lot of stunts.
You're a
at-
stunt lady.
Oh
For kids.
yes, she
Because
does.
I double little boys and girls like in fast car chases or up high in a tree
Any
when they don't
chase
want.
sequence,
Oh,
you know.
for the children.
Yeah, when they don't want to use an 8 or a 9-year-old child.
I love it. You're
Yeah.
wonderful.
She's very good at it too.
Yeah, she
makes
you
lots
look
of money.
lovely. You're both wonderful people.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
We see you on Access all the time.
Thank you, sweetheart.
certainly do.
Right. Skip low. Right.
Here I am with Pat Priest.
How are you? It's good to see you, Skippy.
Wonderful. What's happening
Well,
with
thank you. Well, I just started doing these memorabilia shows. This is a whole new thing for me. I'm living up in Idaho, and everyone would say, you know, whatever happened to,
Right.
you know, where is she now? And I thought, well, I'm up here. I didn't know anyone was looking for me. And then I was down here visiting, and my children live here. And someone said, well, why don't you do the memorabilia shows? And I went, well, what's that all about? And they explained to me, I have had so much fun.
You had so many fans waiting for you.
And you know what, Skippy? The fans have been wonderful. They have brought me memorabilia. They have brought me pictures I have never seen before.
Right.
I had someone yesterday bring me a Wheaties box with the whole Munster family on the box.
Right.
I'd never seen it before. They gave it to me. Very, very nice people.
I want to get back with you, Pat. Your beginning of your show business career in life, who got you, encouraged you in the business, really?
Well, actually, I got my start from my mother. My mother was directing a church roadshow, and she needed a 3-minute curtain act. So she decided to teach me how to do comic record pantomimes. And that's how I
think a lot of people did that at those days.
You know, so that's how I really started. And then when we moved back to Washington, D.C., I auditioned for a television show that went on like 5 to 6, weather and news and everything.
Right.
And I was still in high school, and I got the job. So it took me a little while before I ever got out here to Hollywood.
The Munsters. Tell me about that. How did you get that role? Such a great role for you.
Oh, it was a wonderful show. We became a family personally as well as professionally. And I had been, doing commercials and just kind of knocking about town and, doing little things here and there. And I tested for it, and it was the last day, and they tested 5 girls. And this was like on a Wednesday. They called me up Thursday, and they said, you got the part. Friday, I came in and signed the contracts and started work on Monday.
That's great.
I mean, and ever since then.
Do you realize this particular show is shown all over the globe? The globe.
Yes, and
how do you feel about that? Did you thought it was going to be successful?
I'm very happy and I'm very sad. I'm happy because it's shown all over the globe, and I'm sad because I don't get any residuals.
You don't really? Oh.
Well, I worked under the old union contracts.
Right.
And so, we don't. And it is on every single day. And all of a sudden, we've become cult. And when they first said doing the memorabilia shows, I went, I don't know, because I don't have any current pictures or anything. And they went, oh, no, they don't want current pictures. Oh, no, they want pictures of you way back when you... And I went, oh, yay, okay, I'll do it.
Living in Idaho. It's
Yes.
a great place. I would like to live there myself. Get out of Hollywood. That must be a great place. Where in Idaho?
I live in a little town called Haley, Idaho, which Bruce Willis has just bought most of. And Van Williams, who is a Green Hornet. Van is my neighbor. And
Is it nice living there?
Oh, it's wonderful. And Adam West, and he lives up there. And we all run into each other at the market, and it's like, and what show are you doing? And where are you going next?
Are you still doing shows right now?
No, not right at the moment. I'm not. No. But you know what? Someone approached me, and I thought, I said I don't have that much to say.
Yes, you do. Put the tape recorder on. Go back to the days of all your experiences and talk about the things, what happened on the set.
Yes.
Of the Munsters.
Yeah.
Call it on the set of the Munsters by Pat.
Yes.
On the set.
Memories of Monsters.
Voila. Pat,
good to see you, Skippy. Thank you.
I love you, dear.
And thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Good to see you.
Randy. Voila. Give her. Come over here for... Thank you. Thanks, Randy. Okay. Here I am with Lynn Borden here at the memorabilia. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm fine, Skippy.
You look absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Where are you originally from?
I was born in Detroit, and I was brought up in Arizona.
How did Lynn Borden get into show business, or when did you arrive in Hollywood?
Well, I got started because Tucson has a lot of movies that are made in old Tucson.
Is that where you got it? Really?
Yes, that's how I started as a little kid, and then I went into the University of Arizona. It was my major, And actually, I became Miss Arizona, and from that, people saw me, and they started making small offers, and that kind of started. And I came to Los Angeles.
And the first television show was a big hit. It was called Hazel. Look at that. That was such a great hit.
That was wonderful. That was the start.
That was the start for you. Some great memories. These wonderful people. Tell me about your cast stars.
Shirley Booth was our star, and Ray Fulmer played my husband. We had a.
Did you hear that? Jessie White saying, what did she say, Jessie?
She reminds me of a hooker I knew in Akron.
Oh, never in a million. Never. This is a lovely lady. Look at that.
It's all right. I've played hookers before.
They get Academy Awards all the time.
Right.
They win. That's
they
the
do.
ones who win.
They do.
So tell me, darling, I'd like to know more about Shirley Booth working with this great lady.
She was wonderful. It was my first show, my major thing, and every once in a while we would get a director who would say, "Oh, you're doing fine, and I'd say, "No, I really want to do this wonderfully," and they would just say, "Well, that's okay." I would go to Shirley and say, "Shirley, you've got to help me. I want to make sure everything is perfect." She would always help me. I have notes from Shirley. She was wonderful. Always was there for me. I still do things.
You never did theater.
Theater, but yes, I did theater. Yes, I wanted to do a theater with her. Yeah, I really did. We didn't.
And working with him,
Ray was wonderful. Yeah.
Okay.
We replaced Whitney Blake and Don DeFore, and we were the second couple.
Right.
And I think we probably would have gone on forever if Shirley got sick. And so we had to cancel that.
What happened after the show? From this show, what happened to our lovely lady? Where did you go from there, Lynn?
Well, I did a lot of film after that. I got guest
stars.
Guest starred on a lot of television. I'm still in it. I'll be in it till I die, hopefully.
You love it. You seem like you really love it.
I do, Skippy.
You keep working. Seems like you're enjoying your.
I do. I love it. I want to be.
Children? You married?
No, I have dogs.
Dogs. Oh,
those are my children.
Doris Day and Lynn Borden has dogs. Okay.
Dogs. I love dogs. I have 3 dogs.
So you keep yourself busy. Tell me about this shot. I have to know about this shot.
That shot. Well, that was very risque at the time, and that was for a French magazine.
That's a beautiful shot.
Thank
Look at
you.
those legs. They're
Yes,
beautiful.
yes,
And they still are.
Thank you.
Lovely, darling.
Thank you very
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you, Skippy, for coming by.
Thank you, sweetheart. Film, right?
Yeah, right.
That's
we
what
were
we
in Rome
talk,
for 5
right.
months, right.
Well, guess who I'm standing here talking to? One of my favorite peoples.
Oh, no.
Hi, Sage. How are you?
How you doing, Skippy?
Sage Stallone. This
Hi.
is my son.
Perfect.
Anyone knows? He just got back from Rome. with your
Rome,
daddy?
yeah, 5 months shooting in Rome. I did a little film called Daylight. It's a Dino De Laurentiis production, or a Raffaele De Laurentiis production. Man, it was a big movie. We were
I understand you're editing and doing all these, helping with things now.
Oh, everything, yeah. I'm trying to get into film directing. I'm distributing pictures. I've got 2 Italian horror pictures I'm trying to distribute in the U.S. on Laserdisc and video. And
Who's encouraged you? Your dad, or you just did it because you love it?
Man, I just love it. I've grown up watching movies.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't into sports, so I'd sit home and I'd watch videos all day. So, that turned me into this movie buff. And I think I've practically seen, most of the films in this world, and man, and I'll see more.
Growing up as Stallone's kid, I mean, it's tough, isn't it? Or is it tough for you?
Is it tough? Well, it's.
When you went to school, it's.
Oh, sure, at the time, but now, it's being friendly to people, because being Stallone's son, they expect you to be, this punk, man, this spoiled, idiot.
And you're not.
And I'm not. I try to, keep my feet on the ground.
Where'd you go to school?
I went, about 15 of them. I wasn't very good in school, I must say.
You and Kristen Brando.
All the creative people, I'll tell you.
Tell me about your grandmother. She
my
loves
grandmother?
you.
Oh, I love my
she's
grandmother.
A great lady.
I don't know what she's up to. I haven't spoken to her recently,
I just
but
got off the phone this morning.
yeah?
She's gone to Tony Ann's today, I think. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
You look wonderful.
Thank you very
Look
much.
at those eyes. Look at these eyes. Are they Stallone's
no.
eyes or not? Boy, you look really good.
Thank you very much.
And I really want to thank you for talking to me.
Well, thank you very much, Skippy. Take care.
Thank
It's
you.
great. Okay.
Here I am at the memorabilia. Here I am with John Lazar, Z-Man, but beyond the Valley of the Dells. John Lazar, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Did I meet you with Chris Jones once today?
I don't think so. I would have remembered.
Tell me about Beyond the Valley of the Dells. Who was in it?
Well, I was. No. Dolly Reed Martin, who was engaged to Dick Martin at the time, so it's Dolly Reed, Michael Blodgett, Edie Williams, Charles Napier, Zazu Pitts. No, not Zazu Pitts.
That's a real cult movie, Beyond the Valley of the Dells.
It is. It is.
Why do you think it became such a cult?
I think because those that got the spoof of Hollywood in the late '60s, because it came out in right. And then now a whole generation of Xers, I've rediscovered it.
What are you doing nowadays, John?
I just finished starring in an action thriller called Maximum Security for Royal Oaks. That's Andrew Stevens' company. In fact, we shot at the Twin Towers, the men's lockup, the Virgin Prison. They haven't opened it. Okay, so before that, I starred in Night of the Scarecrow.
Right, I remember that one. Yes.
And that played at Cannes. And
did you go to Cannes?
No, I didn't. So I've been very active right now. Things are.
You have?
Yeah.
Looking back right now, you've been around Hollywood for a long time.
Right.
Where did you originally come from?
San Francisco. I was the youngest company member at American Conservatory Theater.
Right.
And well, that's where I studied and first turned pro, equity. And then Fox discovered me doing Camus' Caligula, a classical play. And I came in right at the end of the studio days. And but see, the film was so controversial at the time. First of all, an X was tacked onto it. Even now, it's on laser and it's an NC-17. It should have been an R then. So I came in with and the role was so controversial. But now it's working for me.
John, I want to ask you a question about such a computer. Movies are so computerized today.
Yeah.
Everything is so computerized. It's so easy. Even Sylvester, they're not making their own jumps. Some of them say they are. But what do you think about these computerizing films? Tell me.
Well,
as an actor,
I have nothing against technology. It's how it's used. So, I mean, that's basically it. I mean, it still plays the thing. You have to have the story, and you have to have, the characters. So, no, technology, it's okay.
John Lazar is married?
Newly divorced. Newly divorced.
So you've got a new film coming right out now?
Yeah.
Security?
Maximum Security.
That sounds very exciting. About Death Stalker 2. Tell me about that.
Where is Jim Wynorski? He was around here.
I love the other one, Attack of the 60-Foot Centerfold.
Did you see it?
What is that about? Tell me.
That's a spoof on the 50-foot.
Right.
And there I play sort of a screwball plastic surgeon who one of my patients is a centerfold. She wants to be more beautiful, and she grows tall, and I have to run around and shrink her.
Right, I remember that. Yes.
Did that with Russ Tamblyn. And
John Lazar, that name, when that word John Lazar, people, when they hit that John Lazar, they actually think of, beyond all these films of the Attack, even Maximum Security is coming out, Z-Man, Beyond the Valley of the Dells. Serious. You really want to do some serious things, because you are really a serious actor. There's some.
I'm that serious?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're kind of serious. These are kind of spook movies, kind of fun movies.
Right.
They become cult films.
Well, I've gone back to theater. I did a one-man show several years ago where I did 21 characters from Shakespeare.
Right. That's what you really are. You're a great Shakespearean actor.
Oh, thank you.
I have seen you work.
Oh, thank you.
You're a wonderful
Thank you.
theater. And that's where you first started. That is your love.
Well, it's my love, but I love film too. Yeah, and I'm writing a script with my brother, and we're going to start a company soon. So I'm trying to branch out. Mini renaissance. You know what I mean?
I wish you a lot of luck on Maximum Security. And
thank you.
John Lazar, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
with Margaret O'Brien here at the memorabilia MGM Music for Millions. That was a great movie with Jose Terrera, Jimmy Durante, and June Ellison. We're going to go and talk to her now, okay? Miss Margaret O'Brien. Collectors show this afternoon, and I'm sitting with two great ladies from the MGM studios. The great, and I use the word ladies, and look at this. She is just absolutely beautiful. Look at who I'm sitting with. This lovely lady. And Margaret.
Margaret and I go back such
Margaret
a way.
O'Brien is just incredible. Look at that. How are you? And who I'm talking to, this lady is just incredible. Marsha Hunt. How are you?
And we both worked together.
I know.
And we did twice.
Yes, twice.
First when you were 6, and then probably all of 7.
And Marsha doesn't look any different today than when we worked together.
Of course not.
Look at this lady and look at this beautiful book that she has put out.
You have to come very close to these. I am showing Margaret some dance steps.
And what film was this?
This one was, I believe, 10th Avenue Angel. Lost Angel.
Lost Angel.
This was from Lost
You
Angel.
were what?
Yes.
How old were you there, Margaret?
About 6.
6 years
Yes.
old.
You remember those days?
Oh, I remember.
Really?
Yes, very much. And I was so thrilled because Marsha presented me with this beautiful book.
Which is
and
Marsha
you see,
Hunt's
she looks the same as she does
exactly
on this
the same,
same beautiful figure.
It's called The Way We Wore. These are the collectors from MGM Studios.
Not only, my first few years were at Paramount, and the first half of the book is mostly Paramount fashions. They're the things I wore in films, and Edith Head and Travis Benton and Ori Kelly and Irene. The only things I did that Adrian designed were hoop skirts from Pride and Prejudice, and they're not in here because this book is about contemporary clothes, what were contemporary in the 30s and 40s.
But you always dressed very ladylike, Marsha. They always made you dress very ladylike.
Well, not always. I played one Brooklyn showgirl.
What was that one?
Oh, that was with Robert Young and Lorraine Day, and it was called The Trial of Mary Dugan, and I was a showgirl with a Brooklyn accent. I had a wonderful time playing that one.
But Marsha's still so lovely and such a fashion plate today, too.
No.
So she was always a fashion
Margaret O'Brien, MGM was growing up with all these great stars like Judy Garland. Look at this. Look at me and Judy. You and Judy Garland.
Oh, I've got to see that picture.
Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that brilliant? Everybody loved Margaret O'Brien.
You know, I think
Thank
that
you.
Meet Me in St. Louis is the finest film ever made that was a story with music. It was not a musical. No dancing girls, but it was a story
It is
with
a
music.
story with music and wonderful music that came out and was written from that
Martin
film.
and Blaine, we had the trolley song, The Boy Next Door, and this perennial Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
That's right.
And they have
That's
remained
gone
dear
on and
friends
remained,
half a century.
Also classic songs, too,
Yes,
from that
and
movie.
I love the dance sequence with you and Judy Garland dancing. That wonderful scene. That was a wonderful.
Yes, well, that was fun. I always loved to dance because my mother was a dancer, of course.
That's right.
So, and my aunt was a dancer. She was the Spanish dancer with Cugarts Orchestra, and my mother was the flamenco dancer with the Cancinos, because my mother was Spanish, and they were very famous flamenco dancers.
I didn't know
So
that.
I got in pictures by accident.
But I can bring you up to date because I don't know, whatever year it was, I was in playing the original Mary Astor role of the mother in Meet Me in St. Louis when they brought it from the screen to the stage. And we were in Birmingham, Alabama,
I went to
where
see
Hugh Martin grew up, who wrote that score with Ralph Blaine. And Margaret and her husband came to the opening, and we had a great grand party at which you danced such a storm on the dance floor. Everybody cleared the floor, and I had never seen Margaret dance except in movies. You were gorgeous to behold.
Oh, thank you.
And I had a whole new impression of you. And then, you know, each of us was on a cruise ship commemorating the 50th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. And you were on the Constitution, and I was on the Independence. And we did all the Hawaiian Islands and met on shore when the cruise was over. But it was started, Skip, with a commemorative program at Pearl Harbor. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember. It was really impressive.
Oh, the president spoke and all kinds of generals.
You two ladies have such memories of Hollywood.
We're blessed with very
and
rich
wonderful
memories.
people that you have met in your travels because you're a celebrity.
And you meet, people who bring buy things like this gentleman that I met today that brought these pictures that were done of me to look like the old-fashioned pictures from George Cukor's, the great directors, my favorite directors, collection. And this gentleman had these, and these were done for the movie to look like they were done in the 18th century. So
they're charming.
I hadn't seen them in a long time, so it was kind of a thrill.
I haven't seen them.
These are like old postcards. They were done like old postcards. So
Look at that. Sweet.
I asked him if he'd part with it, but he said he wouldn't. So
these are on loan.
No, it goes back to his house tonight.
Margaret, I wanted to ask you this all the time. Judy Garland, one of my favorites. One of the greatest entertainer. One of the greatest entertainer ever. There will never be another entertainer. These kids today don't have a clue. But she had stardom. She had finesse. She had everything. Tell me, working with this lady.
She was wonderful to work with. She really was. And very, very nice. And that was a very happy time for Judy Garland because she was just married Vincent Minnelli, and she was very happy during that movie. And she really seemed like my big sister. And Judy was always lovely, even in later years. She would always stop and say hello if she saw you at a party or saw you somewhere. So I was very fond of her. She was a very nice person.
MGM schooling. Fun going to school at MGM?
Well, I mainly had a private tutor because I was working so much, but I'd go into the little red schoolhouse on the lot for recess. But of course, at the MGM school, everybody was all different ages. So, Elizabeth might be in the 11th grade, I might be in the 2nd grade, or, it wasn't that far apart. But
friends with Liz? Do you still call her?
Oh, I see her every once, and she was also a very nice person. And Janet Leigh, I just did a show with Janet.
Oh, did you?
And then, of course, June and I are on a lot of the cruise ships too, doing some lectures.
Oh, Junie loves to cruise. When I never know when she's docked. I think that she's always at sea somewhere. And her husband is a great climber.
Yes.
He goes, if there's a mountain, he's going up it. And wherever, we did a cruise, Junie and Esther Williams and I, to the inland waterway to Alaska. And it was my first cruise. It was breathtakingly beautiful. And we had the best reunion, the three of us, from the MGM days. It was delightful.
I want to ask you a question, Marsha Hunt. You help a lot of people. You're helping the homeless here in the valley. The homeless, we have big problems with the homeless.
We do
You
indeed.
are doing a lot for it. Tell me about the organization.
Well, we can't begin to end the problem, but it feels good to be working on it as best we can. I started something called the Valley Mayors Fund for the Homeless. See, every community has an honorary mayor in the valley, and there are about 23 or 4 communities in the valley. I'm the honorary mayor of Sherman Oaks. So under that title, a bunch of us got together, and we helped start about 3 facilities of different kinds for the homeless, and then we raised money to keep them going. And we provide blankets in the winter so that those who don't have a shelter can at least keep warm outdoors. And we provide services and counseling.
And how do they contact your office?
Well, the police department and I think the libraries all have what we call the homeless help card. And we have put out a little, it's small enough to fit in their pockets or in their wallets if they still have wallets, it's a directory of where to go to find what? Food, counseling, clothing, job opportunities, whatever, and if there is any shelter to be had.
Marsha Hunt, your book, The Way We Wore, it's out right now. It's doing extremely
It's
well.
in its 3rd printing, Skip. Yeah.
This cover is just elegant. Look at this.
Thank you.
Lovely book.
Thank you.
You are both of you are lovely, elegant ladies.
Thank you.
It's lovely to visit with you.
Taking you away from
And it's fun meeting the moviegoers who collect things, and they will stand at your table and tell you every movie you ever made.
You know something? We're all waiting for you right now.
All right, and it's good to see you,
Thank you very
Skippy.
much.
And
Take
see
care
you
of
soon
yourselves.
again.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Hello, testing. Here I am with Jeannie Carmen, one of the sexiest ladies here at the Hollywood show. Boy,
And
how are you, my love?
I'm having a blast. I found all kinds of little magazines that I did back in the 50s and things I hadn't even seen.
I want you to glance down here at this table. Look at these. I have never seen such sex pot in my life since Marilyn Monroe. And matter of fact, talking about Marilyn Monroe, you and Marilyn were very good friends.
We were best friends. I was probably the only girlfriend she had.
Right.
And we did a lot of funny little things.
Like what? Share an experience with you and Marilyn.
Oh, like going and sneaking into people's pools and naked while they were away from home.
And putting mustaches on.
And
Tell me about the mustache.
And going to the movies in our mink coats with nothing underneath. And,
what theater was that?
And going.
I want to know the
It was
theater.
in Hollywood.
Oh, really?
And going to the nude beach with Bobby Kennedy and
Are you
all
really
that.
sitting there telling me you had nothing on underneath that mink coat?
Nothing.
Really? You're
Nothing.
a lady of my heart.
But we did have Bobby socks on.
Oh, okay.
And we even cooked. We cooked and.
What's new and
did all the-
exciting right now in Jeannie Carmen's life?
Well, I still have a book that should be published one of these days. I haven't got it published yet. The one my son wrote, and it's on.
Your son is
Brandon James.
Brandon James, right?
And it's about Marilyn Monroe and other celebrities I've played with. And Brandon wrote. There he stands right there. He wrote a screenplay on my life. Just a
What is it
little
called?
small part.
What is it called?
That is called 3 on the Road, and it's about my trick shot golfing.
That's right. I forgot. Jeannie Carmen is a wonderful golfer, professional. Matter
I
of
hit
fact,
a ball
she.
off your face?
Yeah, you certainly can, darling. Those two, you'll never drown anyway, dear. I must tell you, Jeannie Carmen. You and Dean Martin. Edie Williams is claiming about Dean Martin, but really, you and Dean Martin were very good friends. And Frank Sinatra too.
Well, Frank Sinatra and I had a little bit different deal than Dean and I. Yeah, Dean and I were just friends.
Just friends.
Frank and I were a little bit more than that.
Really? You could sit there and tell me that you and Frank.
Yes.
Separate rooms or twin beds?
No separate rooms and no twin beds.
You're wonderful. You're having a good time here today?
Yes, I am.
Good. Nice.
I'm glad you came.
Tell me about why is such a cult following you are. Tell me, why do you think?
Well, because all the movies I made were so bloody bad that they all turned into cult movies.
These monster movies are great. You did a lot of good monster movies.
Well, I did Monster, I did Western, I did Gangster, I did The Three Stooges.
Favorite movie?
I've done it all.
Favorite movie?
They were all my favorite.
Were they really?
I had fun with all of them. Although the one I did with Lex Barker was probably my favorite, only because Lex was my favorite.
Was he a hot guy? Huh?
Ooh, was he
Carmen,
ever?
It's getting hot here right now, just talking to you. Talk to you later, darling.
Bye.
Here she is, Fran Jefferies, one of the great
Skippy
singers,
Lowe.
one of the great singers in America. Matter of fact, your daughter has a club in town.
Yes, well, she
Tell
has
me.
a wonderful restaurant called
That's it.
Cicada Restaurant,
Right.
Italian, and we do jazz every Thursday, or when Fran comes in, it's Thursday or Friday or
Right,
Saturday
right.
with my trio, and it's fantastic.
For people who don't know who Fran Jefferies is, I must tell you, youngies, this lady is a great singer. And not only a great singer, she was married to one of the great singers, Dick Haymes.
I was a fan, Dick Haymes.
Dick Haymes.
Yes, a great fan.
Great
and
fan.
I'm such a fan of
How
yours.
are you, my
I'm
darling?
just wonderful.
You look
so
absolutely
good to
great.
see.
So
I came to
are
see
you
all
s-
my friends here today.
Yes, I see Mr. Blackwell's here.
Mr. Blackwell, I haven't seen in so
I know.
long.
Have you read
yet.
his book?
I have, and I didn't
Rags
expect
to
to see him
Bitches?
today.
I love
Oh,
that title, don't you?
I love it. I love it.
If anyone can use that title, it's him.
He's
Fran
got the
Jefferies,
coin,
are
too.
you singing at the club?
I won't be singing there till about next month.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm going on to Seal Beach, where there's Leisure World. I'm going to be working there probably the 27th of next month for 3 days.
Good.
It's a lovely place to sing with my trio. Then I'll be back at Cicada.
Good.
And
That's
I'll
a
send you
great
another
restaurant. I love
invitation.
it. Thank
you. Good
Fran,
to see
nice
you.
seeing you, Fred.
Bye-bye.
Nice seeing you. Bye.
Fran.
Fran.
Gosh. Where are you going to be?
Well, I'll be at St.
Hello. Rags to Bitches. Mr. Blackwell, the book. Come on, tell me about the Rags. That's
Rags to Bitches.
That's it.
A wonderful story about Hollywood,
right?
About Brooklyn, about life. It really is. It is not the bitchy book you would imagine. It's a wonderful story of survival. It's a wonderful story about Hollywood.
Right.
It's a wonderful story about Broadway. And it's a better story about having faith in yourself.
It happens to be a very honest book.
Yes.
Was it difficult for you to write this book? to express yourself, to be honest as you are in this book?
No.
It wasn't?
It would have been difficult for me to lie. Anybody who doesn't want to hear it can close it up. They don't have to read it. Because what I've said in this book is what is happening to literally thousands of young men and young women in the world. And they think they're alone. They think nobody cares. But there is someone who cares. And the minute they know they're not the only one, then they're going to feel better about themselves. Yes, it was a tough book to write, but I'm proud of it. I've been bashed for it. I have been stepped on for it, but I'm proud of it. And I'm proud of every word I said. I wouldn't take one word back. And those people who really are honest are going to read this book, Skibby, and say, thank you.
This is the sex edition right now. This is going
third.
The third. It's doing so well.
Third print.
You wrote another book called The Worst of the 30 Years of Fashions.
Well,
Tell me about that. I love that.
Everyone expects this to be what it is. A very outspoken opinion of what Hollywood has done, fashion-wise, for 30 years.
Why is Mr. Blackwell so outspoken? Why? I know. Tell me why, Mr.
Because
Blackwell.
I'm not afraid.
You're not afraid?
I believe in what I believe.
Right.
And
Have you lost a lot of friends with
None.
him that way? No, right?
No.
To being honest.
No.
I agree.
No, I don't think so. No, I shouldn't say that. I lost acquaintances, people I knew. I did not lose any friends.
Right.
Big difference. And as far as they're concerned, see you later. It was okay by me. Really.
Mr. Blackwell, you grew up in Hollywood. Actually, you came out here.
This
Butch. What is this? Is what?
Little Tough Guys.
That's right.
Dead End Kids.
Dead End Kids.
It all started with this.
Right.
And that was the beginning. 1937.
37.
Can you believe this?
Look at that.
60 years ago.
I'm looking at you right now. You look wonderful. What's your secret? What is your secret? Look at you.
Good plastic surgery.
See, there's another honest thing. That is, I like to do a shot of that, of your fashion thing. Mrs.
Barbara
Sinatra.
Jane
Mansfield. And you.
Is me.
That's right. Self-portrait.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It's the beginning of Dead End.
Right. Well, Mr. Blackwell, I wish you a lot of luck on Rags to Bitches, okay?
Yeah, you're terrific. Wonderful guy.
God bless you.
Bye.
Thank you. And thank you for the T-shirt. Look at the T-shirt. You need a T-shirt. Mr. Blackwell, come down here. La la. I love it. Thank you, Mr. Blackwell. God bless you. I'm sitting with Yvette Vickers, one of my favorite ladies from the horror movies of all horror movies. How are you, darling?
I'm fine. I'm so happy to see you, Skippy.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
5 years. I was out of town taking care of my mom and dad. They were quite ill. But I missed you, and I thought about you often. I wrote you a little note. Yeah, but I guess you didn't get it. I don't know.
What's happening and exciting in your life right now?
Well, I'm singing again. I'm making another tape.
Good.
Skippy, I must tell you all, he was the kindest person. At the Comedy Store in the Belly Room, he used to invite me up there to sing and play. I had a marvelous time, and it encouraged me to make these tapes, and a lot of people like them.
You look wonderful.
I feel wonderful.
Tell me about your pictures here. Look at these pictures of Yvette. Do a shot down here, baby. Look at these. Wonderful. Look at this. What was this from? I love this photo.
These are portraits.
These are portrait?
I had taken when I was about 20.
Look
This is
at
from
that.
the giant leeches.
This is the leeches, the giant leeches.
And-
Let's get a good shot of that. Out of the set. Look. See, the giant leeches. Voila.
And this one is from the 50-foot woman. Now that's the original. You can see
50-foot
that.
woman. Wow.
The attack of the 50-foot woman.
They attacked.
My dear fans who love those two movies have brought me back from the grave.
Yvette Vickers, never from the grave. You're always doing quite well. How about a book, Yvette?
I started it, and then I got sort of stalled. You know how that goes?
Yeah.
A little bit blocked.
I got to run out of here, but boy, you look great. I want to get you.
Thank you, sweetie. So do you. Say to you.
Okay? Love you, darling.
I love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Here I am, Jane Kean. How are you, sweetheart?
Well, I'm just grand.
And guess who I just spoke to? One of your lady friends who is in Atlanta, and Honey Merrill.
Oh, did you?
Little Honey Merrill.
What's she doing in Atlanta?
Well, she's going to move back to New York with her daughter.
But she tried living in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Funny, I was just there.
Were you really? That's right. You did a show
The University of Georgia.
Oh,
I just got back Wednesday.
What were you doing? Which show?
Sabrina Fair.
Oh, great show.
Yeah,
Great.
it was fun. A beautiful college. It's an hour away from Atlanta.
I wonder if
I
she
went
saw
into
it.
Atlanta.
She
No,
advertised?
no, probably not. No. Gosh, I
Jane
wish
Kean,
I'd known
tell
she
me,
was there.
growing up in the business, you and your sister, and come on. I mean, show business today. What do you think? What's happening?
Well, there's no more vaudeville and there are no more nightclubs.
I mean, when I see a movie called The Stripper with this Jenny Moore getting $7-8 million, I am just out of my mind. See films like that.
I know.
And people like Betty Davis getting $200,000 for a movie.
I know.
The most.
Clark Gable at his height only made $5,000 a week.
$5,000 a week. Could you imagine what is happening to our?
Well, it's when they say it's the economy, my God.
No, it's not. It's the pits of the young people presenting things. Jane Kean, tell me.
Price of fame.
Working with Jackie Gleason and all those great shows. Tell me about it.
Well, that was something that could never happen again. I mean, I'm so spoiled whenever I do a TV show because we played like it was a Broadway show with an audience and wonderful material. To me, there's one show comparable, and that's I like Frasier too, but Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
I love
Frasier and Seinfeld are the best.
Yes, I think so. Well, you've got four great people.
Right.
And just like
But do you think that Jackie Gleason show gave the writers ideas for that show? Don't you think?
Yes. Oh, definitely. All in the Family was certainly a spin-off of that.
Right.
Archie Bunker was Ralph Cramden, but going a little further as far as the language is concerned. Because, see, Jackie was very puritanical when it came to saying an obscene word. Yes. He was. He wanted his ladies, the gals that he went with, like Honey Merrill, who you mentioned before.
He didn't
very
marry
refined.
her, though. He was with her for all his.
Well, she
and
walked
when
out,
she dropped him,
yes, she did.
He married
Beverly McKittrick. Beverly
he married her
McKittrick briefly.
Yeah.
Briefly. Well, he wanted to show Honey that if she'd stuck in there, he would have married her. But how long could she stick around? She was with him for 14 years.
Jane Kean, you look absolutely wonderful.
Aren't
and
you
people are
sweet?
here seeing and getting autographs. How about a book, Jane Kean?
Well, that's me.
Is it really?
Yes. Well, my nightclub act.
Ah, when you did.
A few years ago.
Look at that.
Quite a few years ago. Down memory lane, we call it.
Well, we're down memory lane here now.
I know. This is my first experience here, and I'm having
here. John Agar, they're all here, and Margaret. Margaret O'Brien.
Right? Is she? Well, you tell me because I never get past this
Fran
aisle.
Jefferies. Oh, they're all here. It's just charming. Marsha Hunt. They're all here. Anyway, my darling, I'll let you go.
Good to see you, darling.
Thank you for coming to my birthday party.
Oh, that was fun. That was the best birthday cake I ever had.
Thank you, darling.
Wasn't that good?
I didn't taste it.
Oh.
I got either food. Let's see. Okay, I want to get that picture in the back, would you? Okay, we got it now. Here we go. Lee Benton. Here I'm sitting with Lee Benton. Hi, Lee.
Yes.
How are you?
Hi, just terrific.
You look wonderful, Lee.
Thank you.
You look absolutely great.
Thank you.
What's happening with Lee Benton right now?
Well, I've been recovering from a very bad accident, and just now getting back into motion. So I have a TV show that's going to be coming up real soon to be announced, and I'm ready for film work. I've been approached to do some cabaret shows. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do that.
I'm looking right at you. Very little makeup here. Lee Benton has very little makeup. And what is your secret? You're so beautiful. It's still beautiful.
That deserves a hug.
darling. You're lovely as ever.
Thank you.
Tell me, Mickey Spillane. Tell me about Mickey Spillane. Have you met him at all?
Yes, he's a big teddy bear. He's one of the nicest fellows in the world.
Right.
Mickey Spillane and Stacy Keach.
Right.
Jewels to work for.
I love Stacy. Yes, she's
wonderful.
Yes. Lee Benton as Jenny in that show. Tell me, did you enjoy doing it?
I loved it. I loved it. It was a fun role because I usually play a lot of the villains, the vixens, you know, the bad one, the bad seed. And Jenny was a real loving, good-hearted person that was nice.
Benton is on television constantly with the fitness. Tell us about the fitness and all this fitness on television. What are you doing? Tell me about that.
Well, I just got approached to do some more muscle magazines because that used to be my thing back in the 80s. I used to train a lot and do all these magazine covers. And since the accident, I haven't been able to hardly wiggle my finger. You know what I'm saying? But now the doctor gave me an okay, and I'm going to start pumping again. And I just got approached by Iron Man. They want me to do a cover. They just came up 2 minutes before you interviewed, so I'm going to start doing some more muscle magazines, and you'll see me a lot.
Look around you. You have a lot of fans here, Lee. I mean, a lot of fans.
I'm blessed.
Yes.
I am blessed. And you asked my secret?
Yes. What is it?
Why I'm looking younger?
Yeah.
It's not plastic surgery.
No, it isn't.
Thank you, God. I pray a lot.
You pray. Eat the right foods too.
I'm a vegetarian.
Ah, that's it.
So I follow a very strict diet. No red meat. In fact, no meat whatsoever.
Look at the body. I like to stand up and see this great body.
You stand up with me.
Okay, look at this body.
That's
This is Lady Benton. She'll never drown, will she? I mean, she'll float for days. I love you, darling. You're wonderful.
You're too funny.
Thank you, Lee.
I love you. God bless you.
Wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
And stay well, darling.
Thanks for watching my camera.
Okay, dear.
Bye-bye.
I know. Ted Lange, how are you?
Fine, how are you, Skip?
You look wonderful.
Thank you, so do you. But what do I know?
Tell me about, what do you mean you don't know? Tell me about the captain you're working on that crazy ship. Tell me about that.
Gavin McLeod?
Yeah, I love him.
Oh, yeah, he's a wonderful guy. You know, Bernie's right over here, too.
Oh, great. We'll say hello to him.
Please say hello to him.
I will, but boy, I wanted to always interview you, and I could never get you. I've called your PR people, your agent, and they're always busy. But
you have to call me, Skip. Don't listen to those guys.
I want that immediately.
Yes.
But anyway, getting back, what's happening and exciting right now in your life?
Well, I've written a play called Soul Survivor, which is a 3-character comedy.
Right.
And I'm doing it end of July, beginning of August in Atlanta during the Olympics.
Right.
At the Martin Luther King Center in Atlanta.
Great.
Yes.
What's it about?
It's about a guy who's trying to sell his soul to the devil, but he can't get a good deal.
I think we all been through that, actually.
Well, if you live in Hollywood, it's not really that far.
That is an interesting
it's
script.
fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
Where's Ted Lange from, actually?
I'm from Oakland, California.
Are you really? How did you get that role in that TV?
Boat?
Yeah, in Love Boat. How did you get
Now here's the deal, Skip. See, I did this show, That's My Mama. See that? I did that.
I remember that. You were very campy. I thought I was the camp. I wanted that role, but I was the wrong color, honey. You know
Very campy, though.
You were. I remember that role at all. And I saw it, and I said, "That bitch took my part." That's them. I said, "That bitch took my part."
Well, you should have told me I would have given it up. But I did that for ABC. And when Love Boat came around, the television executives knew my work from this show. So they were auditioning all these people. They had to audition Bernie Kopell.
Bernie Kopell's over there. Bernie,
and it's a sore
I want to say hello to you.
It's a sore point with Bernie Kopell to this day.
Wonderful, sweet. Now that's Bernie Kopell. How you doing, Bernie? We'll say hello in a minute. But this is
Bernie had to audition, and so Bernie came and he says, "Ted, I didn't see you at the audition. When did you come? In the morning, in the afternoon?" I said, "Well, Bernie, the really good people didn't have to audition."
And Bernie, working with this man.
He's impossible. He is impossible. I tried to have Aaron Spelling remove him from the show in the beginning. Aaron said, "Okay, I will." He just gave it lip service, but he kept him on the show anyway for 10 fakakta years. I had to work with this man. It was impossible. It was
Has it been that long? 10 years?
No, we did the show for 10 years.
That's a long time.
That's a pretty good run.
Actually.
And it's all because of my talent, not because.
I tried to compensate for my real feelings about Ted. I taught him tennis on my court.
Well, that's true.
Bernie Kopell,
I did everything
I
I
ask you
could.
a question very
Yes, good.
seriously.
Please.
Where are you from originally?
Brooklyn.
New York. You
Yes.
started really in the theater, didn't you? Or did you?
Yes.
No, he started in a cab. He was driving.
Pardon the interruption.
Did you start in the theater?
I had a very formal training at NYU.
Right.
In Shakespeare, Shaw, Barry, all the classic plays.
He did Hamlet. Tell him who you played.
But you did theater.
I played
don't you?
Laertes. Or I played Osric, actually.
Yeah, he played Osric.
Yeah.
And not that Laertes.
So when you left Oakland, you came to Hollywood. Is that it with you, or
When he left Oakland, they sent up a flare. They were so thrilled that he was out of
I
there.
came to Hollywood, couldn't get arrested, went to New York.
That's the place.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you advise young kids coming out of high school or college, go to New York?
No, I advise them to come to L.A., fail, then go to New York.
Okay. Hey, James Dean did that. You know that?
Is that what he did?
He did, absolutely. He
Can you
went to New
imagine?
York. He came to California. He went back to New York, and then East of Eden came. That's exactly what Jimmy Dean.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Bernie Kopell.
Yes, Skip.
Theater in Broadway. Have you done theater in Broadway?
I'm doing theater right now. We're doing Neil Simon's Rumors in Sherman Oaks
you'll be wonderful.
at the Whitefire Theater.
Are you there now?
We're playing right now.
How long are you going to be there?
We will be there till August 18th.
You hear that?
You must come and see it.
We certainly will.
I'm going to see it
This is
tonight.
on United Cable and all over, so we're going to push this.
Neil Simon's Rumors, August 18th. We are Whitefire.
It's on
Whitefire. Excuse me for saying that.
White Fire.
You know, I
Okay?
find
It's
Ted.
not going to bother me. I'm going to show up anyway.
Are you going to? Have you seen the show yet?
I saw it tonight. Yeah, I saw it with who's that Broadway guy? Yeah, he wasn't any good. So Bernie told me that guy wasn't any
Can I
good.
show you something
Come
about Ted?
see him.
It's amazing.
No, you're
Watch
not
it.
going to do that. You're not going to do that. No.
You two guys are great.
Yeah.
Must have been fun on the set like this, huh?
Never.
No.
I
Only
said, I would look at the script and said, a scene with Ted.
Isaac. I got a scene with
I
Isaac.
ripped the pages out, but they
Yeah.
put him back in anyway.
Yeah.
Bernie Kopell, you brought a lot of
Skip,
laughs and a lot
thank
of
you.
charming
Thank
things
you.
to me. And
Skip, thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Okay.
And I wanted that row so badly. I wanted that bitch, and he took it away. Thank you.
Okay.
I am with Christopher Atkins, Blue Lagoon. Aren't you getting tired of that word, Blue Lagoon?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no.
You look great. What's exciting right now in your life?
Well, I'm about to start up a film, and I'm starting up my own film company. And yeah, we've been having some big talks lately, which is really kind of exciting. And I've got something else on the side that I've been doing that's sort of on the hobby side of things.
Christopher Atkins, actually, where are you from originally?
Originally from Rye, New York.
How did Christopher Atkins get that part in Blue Lagoon? I mean, you were very young. How old were you?
I was 18. 18 years old.
Not that young. Okay, fine. How did they scout you up?
Well, I was a friend of mine who I was teaching sailing to her kids back in Rye, New York, sent my picture into this modeling agent, and the next thing I know is they heard about the open call to Blue Lagoon, and I was one of 4,000 kids who went in for it.
Difficult for you, looking back at that time, you know, you were out in the islands, but difficult for you to throw completely, you know, as a native boy. I was really a native boy. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You know, it was interesting because I talked about it with the director, discussing that role and about being able to be free with it because it was really part of the film. And it ended up that we were on this deserted island in the middle of Fiji out in the South Pacific, and pretty much everybody who was even on the island, which was about 60 people, just were a crew, and they were all young Australians. Everybody was naked.
I see. Bill Cable was a friend of mine. I think you know him. He went with Kristen go to the islands. His father, Marlon, sent both of them to the islands to make. Christian was a tree surgeon at the time, and Bill was also. And Bill Cabo and him went there and made a landing gear there for the plane to arrive. And they used to take their clothes off, and it was like Blue Lagoon. They used to tell me that's what they were doing, Blue Lagoon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was fun. Two boys fishing and throwing things, I don't know, killing fish and getting drunk, and they were all naked out there. It's wonderful. And was it wonderful for you to
Yeah. Well, that, you know, it's...
with Brooks, charming lady. She was very young, too.
Yeah, she was 14.
And she was used to that because she did some nudity at the beginning.
Well, she was, you know, I don't think she was really used to it. I mean, to say that and used to it, because she was so young and it wasn't something that she just did.
But they protected you on the set. It was very
it was a very professional set. I mean, it really was a very professional set.
You were wonderful.
Well, thank you.
It became a big hit over that, and from then on...
and by the way, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very
much. What are you, 26 now?
I don't know. I stopped counting.
25, 26, 25?
I stopped counting. What's your month? What's your birthday?
February.
Oh, good. You're Aquarius or what?
Pisces.
Pisces. Oh, that's a good sign. So you're going to have your own company now. That's interesting.
Yep. Well, we're just in the beginning stages of that.
You're married.
So
you have
that's
children, right?
I'm married. I'm children, and that's the other exciting thing in my life.
Very happy.
I'm very happy. I got 2 great kids and a wonderful wife.
So
I'm doing pretty good.
Really changed. Has it really touched, drugs, all that craziness, going to clubs?
Those are the old days.
I'm looking at you. You look wonderful.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you for talking.
Well, sure. Thank you. You too. Thanks.
Guess what? I am sitting here with John Agar, one of my favorite actors there is from Chicago, Illinois, originally.
Yeah, I am originally from Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family, my great-grandfather came to Chicago, Illinois from Ireland. He was a cabin boy, and he started the Agar Packing and Provision Company. And that was before the Civil War. And I grew up in the south side of Chicago up until I was 14.
Right.
And then we moved to Lake Forest, which is 35 miles north of Chicago. And as a matter of fact, the day I went up there, my mom and my sister and brothers were already there. My father passed away, had a heart attack. He hadn't reached his 41st birthday. Yeah.
And you were in the military. You got into the Navy, or was it?
I started in the Navy, Air Corps, but I went through part of the training, but when we got into the flying aspect, the beginning of it, I got an infection in my semicircular canal, which is in your ear, and it affects your balance.
Right, you're in a balance.
And they wouldn't wait for it to cure, so they gave me a medical discharge. And I was out of the service for, 3 or 4 months.
And we came to Hollywood, huh?
No. Then I went into my mom and my brothers and sisters came to California in 1943, but I was in the Army Air Corps by that time.
That's it, yes, right.
Yeah.
And that's when you met Shirley Temple.
Yeah, I met her over at Zazu Pitt's house.
Right.
Because Zazu lived right next door to Gertrude and George Temple.
Right.
And my mom knew Zazu, and I don't remember how she knew her, but I went with her this one day.
Right.
And Shirley came over, and that's the first time we met. She was 15, I think. I sounded like my kid sister.
Right.
You know, I had a sister who actually went to school with Shirley. And I don't know.
You got married, that's it.
Well, yeah, we did. All of a sudden, something happened when even before I got out of the service, the war was over, but in September of 1945, we did marry.
But you worked with a great guy immediately, John Wayne, in a film. Tell me. Fort Apache, another great film.
Well, Fort Apache was the first film I ever did. And
A lot of great stars were in that, John.
Oh my gosh, you better believe it.
I mean, John Agar immediately surrounded with all great stars. How did you feel about that?
I was scared to death.
Were you really?
Oh, but every one of them.
How great you look. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that son of a gun.
I was never that young, Skip.
Look at John Agar. There's John Agar. What a great looking guy. A nice guy, too.
Thank you.
One of the nicest guys in Hollywood.
Well, thank you, Skip.
You are. And you got married again.
Oh, this is my wife, Loretta.
Loretta, how are you?
Fine. How are you,
look
Skippy?
Wonderful,
Well, thank you.
Good care of John, aren't you?
I'm trying.
John had just a little mishap just recent. Now he's better and he looks great.
Well, I'm doing my best.
Yeah, you look great, John.
Yeah.
God bless you.
She's put up with me for 45 years now.
45.
We were married May 16th, 1951.
I want to ask you one more question, John. I know this might. It's your child from Shirley Temple. Still hasn't seen the daughter. Daughter have not seen yet? Not at all.
I haven't seen her since she was about 6 years old.
6 years old.
Yeah, but
incredible.
Well,
John Agar sitting there telling me, is Shirley Temple did something like that? I can't bear it.
Well, no, I'm not putting any blame on Shirley.
No?
No, not at all. I feel that Shirley was her mom, was very controlling.
But you would like to see your daughter
Oh, I'd
now?
love to see Linda
How old is
Susan.
she would be today, John?
She's 48 years old.
40 years old. Well, if you're out there, just give us a call and let's get together with John Agar, huh? See your daddy, okay?
Yeah, well, I'd love to see Linda Susan, but I don't want to cause any problems between Linda and her mom Shirley, or Charles Black.
See, this is what's all about. Nice guy from Illinois, Midwest. Kind, very generous. They're very lovely people. Love it. Are you from where?
Los Angeles, Hollywood.
You're very lucky to meet John Agar, aren't you? And she's lucky to meet you, too.
Oh, I'm the lucky one.
Yeah?
I'm the lucky guy.
God bless you, John.
God bless you, Skip. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Skippy.
Thank you, sir. Nice
Thank you.
Take
John,
care,
could
buddy.
you sign me one? Here I am with Burt Ward. How are you, Burt? How you doing?
I'm doing fine,
you
citizen.
Look absolutely great.
Well, I try to keep in shape, still fighting heinous villains wherever they rear their ugly heads.
Tell me about Boy Wonder. What's that all about? You're telling it everything in life.
This is truly a book you can judge by its cover. It's a 300-page romp of what really went on in Batman, behind the scenes, with all the explosions, the injuries, the fist fights, the superhero sex with young fans, everything.
Really? Are there a lot of sex fans there out there?
Well, let me just say this, that Batman and Robin were very well received all across the country.
True.
More ways than one.
Where are you from?
Born and raised in the slums of Beverly Hills.
Really?
Yes.
So you're a California man.
Yep.
How did you get that part?
Well, I was a young actor, studying acting, going to UCLA, selling real estate on the weekends, sold a house to a producer who sent me to an agent, and it was the first thing I tried out for. There were 1,100 other young actors trying out.
Right.
So 1 out of 1,100, pretty good odds there.
But you're doing other things right now.
Yeah, I've starred in 19 features television in the last 6 years. My wife and I are publishing books. Boy Wonder, My Life in Tights is my first book, and I have another book coming out July 4th called The Final Jihad, which is a novel written by another author that we're putting out.
So you have a publishing company? Is that?
Yes, publishing company, film production company.
Really?
Yeah, keeping very busy. We have a studio at our home. My wife and I have a full post-production facility at our home with 3D animation, special effects, video editing. We have our own sound stage. So we were very busy.
How long have you been married?
6 years.
Any children?
Yes, I have 2 children. One from a prior marriage, who's 29, and now I have a 5-year-old from my present marriage. And I tell everybody that every 25 years I'm going to sire another child. So I'm very happy with my kids, and actually I have 2 grandkids now. And people ask me, what's it like to be a grandfather? Of course, well, it's a very big shock for me, but I must tell you, it's really not all that different from being a father. It just feels very strange making love to a grandmother.
Tell me about the book real quick before we go.
Well, it is a very wild and crazy. It's all the stuff that really happened on Batman, and it's the behind-the-scenes stuff. It's the stuff that the studio never told about. Yeah, it's really shocking stuff.
Have you enjoyed working on Batman?
Oh, I had a lot of fun. Yeah, we used to say that we put on our tights to put on the world. In fact, we were the only superheroes that wore our underwear on the outside of our clothes.
Working with
Adam West.
Yeah, great guy.
Very nice. Adam's a lot of fun to work with. He's a real crazy guy.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, citizen. To the Batmobile.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, here I am with Sandra Gould from the Bewitched Show.
How are you, Skippy?
The Crazy Bewitched Show. Tell me about that wonderful Elizabeth Montgomery. I loved her.
She was a wonderful person. We're still in a state of shock at her passing. You know, we sent her a great big card in the hospital thinking that she'd be back the next week, you know? And we were shocked because so quick. And we had no idea that it was anything serious. We thought she was in for the flu. You know?
How many in the show? How many were there in the show?
Well, there were eight people.
8 people in the show?
Yes. Shetty.
Yes.
Aggie Moorhead.
Right.
And the rest of the people, Elizabeth. And that's George Tobias, and that's Dick York.
Dick York
was wonderful. And Aunt Clara.
Aunt Clara, of course.
Yeah, and then
the kids.
And the kids.
Right.
And then we had
how long were you on that show, Dirk?
6 years.
6 years. And from there, what happened from there?
Well, from there, I was typecast, and I didn't work for a while. Yes, it was very difficult, and I started to write. I didn't know I was a writer, and I wrote 2 books, both published. Both did very well.
What kind of novels?
One was called Always Say Maybe, and the other one was a cookbook called Sex Pots and Pans.
I love that title, Sex Pots and Pans.
And it was how to cook for 36 different types of men, and always leftovers on Monday night so that you could tell your girlfriend what happened. And instead of a picture with a pig with an apple in its mouth, I had pictures of handsome men that you want to cook for. So it was very successful.
How did you get on the Bewitched Show? How did you get that role?
Well, actually, they called me originally to do the part, Mrs. Kravitz, and I couldn't do it because my husband was very ill, and I wouldn't work. You know, I just took care of him. And then a year later, the girl who they did pick, Alice Pierce, passed away. And at that time, my own husband passed away too. And Harry Ackerman called me up and said, well, now we really need you. You turned it down the first time, but it's about time you went back to work now, Sandy. So I got the part that I was originally supposed to get, and I did it for 6 years.
Mrs. Kravitz, nice talking to you, my darling.
Nice talking.
Great lady, I love you.
And happy birthday again,
darling.
Skippy. Bye-bye.
Well, they talk about Diana Durbin. Well, here we have Gloria Jean. Gloria Jean, one of the great American singing stars, a little girl who really took America. How are you, Gloria?
Oh, I'm just fine. A pleasure to meet you. I'm having a wonderful time here.
Working with Bing Crosby and all these great stars as a child singing actress. How was it those days, my darling?
Wonderful. Bing Crosby was a sweetheart to work with. As a matter of fact, W.C. Fields was very nice, too.
That's the one.
He wasn't supposed to like children, but he was very nice to me.
Was he really?
Yes, he was.
What do you think made him so nice to you? Because
well, you know, he wasn't supposed to like kids, but I think because I was 14 and for some reason he liked me.
Gloria Jean, I was supposed to be in one of your films, and I was a kid. I was like 12, 13 years old. I was going to school at HPS. I don't remember maybe this might have been it, if I had my way. Yeah,
yes.
Could have been.
Yes.
With, at Paramount, was this at Paramount?
Universal.
Universal?
Yeah.
Could have been, yeah. But was he at Universal, Bing Crosby, at the time?
Well, Bing came to Universal to make that movie with me. Yes.
Look at this. This is Jean. Look at this. Gloria Jean. What a darling picture. Some of the stars that you worked with, name some of the wonderful stars that you worked with that you really love working with.
Groucho Marx, Carmen Miranda.
Carmen Miranda.
Yes.
I like her very much.
She
I love her.
was lovely.
Yes.
She was lovely.
I
And
used
of
to
course,
go home and grab my mother's turbans and put fruit on it and used to do Carmen Miranda.
And Donald O'Connor, we made 6 movies together.
Did you really?
Yes. See, there's one of them right here with Donald.
That's right, you did. He went to school with me at HPS.
Oh, what a doll. And what a nice guy.
Did you go to school on the set?
Yes, I did.
At Universal?
Yes. Matter of fact, we both did. We had to go to school. Oh, yes. And Mel Torme, he stopped by yesterday to
Did he?
say hello.
How wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
good. Some of the songs that you've sang, how come they're going to be showing your movies now on television? Tell me
I
about
understand that, and I'm delighted
You
because
and Susanna Foster. I love Susanna Foster.
Yes.
How is she
yes.
doing? Have you seen her around?
No, I haven't lately. But
why do you keep yourself hidden away, Gloria Jean, all these years? Your voice is still there, probably. You're married.
It is. I have a son and grandchildren, but
you still sing?
Oh yes.
You do?
Oh yes, I do. And I'm retired now, and I'm enjoying my life
Are you
very
enjoying
much.
it?
Oh yes.
You don't want to get up and show us what you're doing nowadays. We'd love to see you. Come back.
Well,
with us.
it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Gloria Jean, you look wonderful.
Thank you
God
very
bless you,
much. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Gary. Hi, here I'm with Gary Gray, one of the young actors of Hollywood who really did a lot of westerns, didn't you? As a Western child star?
Yeah, I did a lot of westerns and a lot of, horses and dogs.
Are these all yours back here,
Yes,
Gary?
uh-huh.
Let's see some of the Wild Heritage. I remember that with Will Rogers Jr.
Right.
That's great. Working with Maureen O'Hara. What a great lady.
Oh yeah, very sweetheart, nice
Yes,
lady.
You remember working with her? Any helpful hints she gave you as a child actor?
That I can't honestly say I remember. Okay. At that time, of course, I was about 18 or 19.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And how about Gene Rogers, which I love, Gene Rogers. Fighting Back. That was
Fighting
a good
Back.
film.
That was one of those Saul Wurtzel films,
Right.
20th century release.
Where are you from originally?
Right here.
Really? You're a Hollywood
Yeah,
young actor
I
who got
grew
into
up here. My dad was a business manager, and Jack Benny and a guy by the name of Burt Wheeler. I'm sure you remember Wheeler and Woolsey.
Of course.
They both thought I should be in pictures when I was a little kid, and they registered me with Central Casting and went from there.
Working with Lassie. Tell me about Lassie. I love Lassie. Tell me about that. Oh, look at this.
Lassie was neat to work with. I worked with all the dogs from, Flame and Corky and Daisy and all of them, yeah. But this was the last full-length feature at MGM with the original Lassie. This was The Painted Hills. It's the only one I think she did that wasn't called Lassie. It was called Shep.
Right.
And we did that in Sonora.
Look at this. Look at this. This is what a boy should look like today. Boys today don't look like that. Tell me about growing up in Hollywood. Had a good time?
I had a ball.
Did you?
I had a ball. Had worked with some great people. This picture here was from Father as a Bachelor with Bill Holden and Colin Gray. In fact, I worked with Bill twice, once with Rachel and The Stranger.
Working with William Holden. What a good actor.
He was fantastic and a nice man. The end of one of the pictures, Rachel and the Stranger, he came in and gave me a new .22 rifle, I remember.
Rachel and the Strangers, is that with...
Loretta Young, Bill Holden, and Bob Mitchum.
Wonderful film.
Yeah.
I saw that film in Paris, in French. It was on a French title, subtitle, and that was a... you sound great in French. It was a good movie. That was a great movie. I loved it in Europe.
Thank you.
Fantastic movie. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. Thank you very much.
It's a great picture.
Thank you.
This is my first headshot in California. Michelle Meyers, Tennessee Gal.
Were you a singer? Looks like with Norman Alden. And where are you from, Norman?
Originally from Fort Worth, Texas.
Really, are you? How did you get into films? Because you're such a character actor. Look at these pictures. There are many faces. It's like many faces of, well, you do a lot of roles here, from gangsters to everything.
I started out with two faces. He's a two-faced guy.
Who did you study acting with?
I didn't study, Skip. I never studied a day in my life, and it may look that way sometime.
No, they say it's the best. The old actors today, like Mitchum and Clark Gable and all these great actors, say, don't study, just be natural.
Well, that's, I used to sit in restaurants and watch people walk by and bus stops and things like that. I just learned to act by just watching and looking,
What made you get into the business?
I didn't want to work.
That's not a good excuse.
No, I don't know. I think I was an actor. I was born an actor. I really wanted to be a baseball player, but I knew I'd never make it to the bigs, so I had a knack for making people laugh. And
tell me about this picture.
That's a picture from the Army. When I was fighting in the Army, this is the way I fought. Well, I did it to keep from working,
this one right here is another great MC, like MC.
MCA. That was my agent at the time. That was my first photo here in Los Angeles.
Your very first film.
There's a picture called "Hear Me Good" that Don McGuire. You remember Don McGuire? Don McGuire wrote it and directed it. Yeah, we did Hennessy and a bunch of those things. You know, with Jackie Cooper, and it was "Hear Me Good," but nobody did.
Looking back over your career, who are some of the favorite actors that you have worked with?
I think William Holden was one of my favorite. I did The Devil's Brigade with Bill Holden. He was a wonderful man, wonderful guy. Ernie Borgnine, another wonderful guy. I find the bigger they are, the better they are. You know?
I agree, and thank you for talking to me. You're
Thank you,
wonderful.
Skip.
You're charming.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.